So this is little Tater Tot. She is 4.5 months old, and she is absolutely delightful unless it's time for sleeping. So when I had my first daughter, she was a terrible sleeper, and she kind of went in between patches of good sleep and bad sleep, but for the most part she was, she just didn't sleep very well. I'm finding that little Tater here is pretty similar, aren't you, buddy? Yeah. She for the first 3 months during her newborn phase, she wouldn't sleep at regular times, but when she slept, she would sleep pretty well. And then all of a sudden, she regressed and she wasn't sleeping very well. She was sleeping for maybe half an hour at a time. Oh, you see Sissy? Do you want to go? Come take her.
Hello.
There you go. Go play. And the spit cloth. Boop. What I found was there was a lot of regression in her sleep. My older daughter did the same thing. So this time around, the first 3 months she was sleeping okay, and then she wasn't sleeping okay, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, and I was starting to get frustrated. I thought to myself, my God, I have 2 kids who won't sleep. What is happening right now? And I happened to mention it to a friend of mine, Jessica, and she mentioned to me, maybe she's going through a leap. I said, what's a leap? So Jessica turned me on to a book. It's called The Wonder Weeks, and it's all about the developmental stages that kids go through, babies go through. They start fairly early, so I looked into the book. There's also a website, there's an app, and there's a Facebook group if you're interested, and I'll put the links down below. I downloaded the app afterwards and I started to read up on the different leaps, and it appears that little Miss Tater is in her 4th leap, or leap 4. Now, if you read other websites and other books, around this time, the 4-month stage, a lot of babies will sleep regress. So what you tend to find happens is they will become much lighter in their sleep. They'll be woken up by the slightest distraction, the smallest noise, and when they do sleep, they don't sleep very well. So I thought maybe I just have 2 kids who don't sleep. And maybe that still is the case, but having read The Wonder Weeks, everything makes so much more sense, and I wish I'd had this resource when little Potato was a baby, because it would have just made, if not the actual phases easier, it would have made me feel like I was not going crazy. Little Tater Tot is in leap number 4, and what that means is her brain is now developing into a little bit more of a mature brain. So as a newborn, babies pretty much just sleep deeply. That's all they do, and that's why a lot of newborns, when they do fall asleep, they actually can sleep through pretty much anything. So there could be a hurricane going on outside and they would sleep and it'd be absolutely fine. Once they get to this point, they start to wake up, and that's because their brain is now cycling between light and deep sleep. And so that's kind of the bigger developmental change that's happening at this stage. There are a lot of other abilities that babies start to pick up around this time. But at this stage now, we're finding that, she is laughing, which is the most amazing sound in the world.
I got a frog.
Smiling loads. Hi, Bum. She's bringing her hands together, which is a developmental step. She's blowing raspberries. I don't know if you can hear that. She's also propping herself up on her arms when she's doing tummy time, which she hates. A lot of babies don't like tummy time. Persevere through it. It's great.
Hi, buddy. What you doing?
Once they get to this point and they can actually hold themselves up, it's not as bad for them. They don't hate it as much. So the different leaps are basically different developmental stages. Those are the abilities that babies should be developing at that time. And all babies will kind of pick and choose which of the abilities they want to focus on, and that's why every baby is still a little bit different. It's a fantastic read. It's definitely worth getting. So again, I've put the links down below. If nothing else, if you have a smartphone, get the app. I think it costs like $2 or $3, but it's well worth the expense because not only does it allow you to integrate reminders into your calendar about when the leaps are starting, so it'll kind of warn you like, hey, your baby's about to sleep regress yet again, but it'll also give you information on, you know, a summary of what this leap is about. What kind of developmental changes will the baby be undergoing? What abilities will they be starting to develop around this time? What are the signs of the leap? So, you know, they become more clingy, more fussy, not sleep. Do they spit up? Do they, like, what do they do? And also it gives you some tips and on how you can help your baby through the leap. So different games you might be able to play with the baby for that particular developmental stage. So it's totally worth it. Absolutely get the app. And let me know if it's been helpful at all. I'd love to hear your feedback if you already have read the Wonder Weeks, if you're following along with the different leaps, or if this is totally new to you. Give it a download, go get the book, join the Facebook group. It's fantastic. And let me know what you think. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
She already did to me.
What, she's spitting all over you?
Yes. You get in it.
You're lucky you're cute, because that's super gross, buddy.
I'm wiping it on her pants.
That's very nice of you.
She gets it.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Mwah.